It is extremely hot out. Do not let your dog overheat. Welcome to Cornerstone Gundog Academy, where you can learn to train your retriever with our online videos. So with all of the heat going on here, we're into August now. We're working with our dogs, and really you can apply this tip to any stage of the year where it's extremely hot, but specifically where we're at this part of the year, it gets hot. We're talking very, very hot. And there's a danger to that because our dogs have nice thick coats. Really, they're designed to be working in cold water. They're designed to be working in the winter. And it can be dangerous if you're not careful. So one of the big important things here is to not let your dog overheat. And let's talk about that. How can you prevent your dog from overheating? Well, there's a couple of different things that you can do if they start to get a little too hot. Number one, you can prevent it, which is the best thing, as in do shorter sessions. As if you want to work on a lot of skills, that's fine, but do a little bit of work, then go let your dog rest. Do a little bit of work, then let your dog rest. If you have the opportunity, train super early or super late. Make sure that you're getting out there at the coolest times of the day. Don't train in the middle part of the day unless it's rainy or overcast and it feels pretty good outside. Otherwise, it's going to really stress your dog, and you don't want to do that. Another opportunity is working in the shade. If you can work in the shade, that is your best bet. Now, that is some great ways to prevent it. And then the last way to prevent it, which is very crucial, is hydration. Now, this is also a double-edged sword here. You're thinking hydration. Well, do I take water out there with my dog and give them some water? That is not the best thing to do, and it can actually be dangerous for your dog if you're giving them a lot of water. You can give them a little bit, but not a lot. The most important part of hydration is when you're not out there training, through the rest of the day and into the night. Make sure your dog gets plenty of water throughout the day so that they get as much of their water intake that they can when they're not out there training. That's going to help them stay overall hydrated. If you don't give them enough water and you get out there and you're working in the heat, then you try to give them a lot of water to hydrate them. Again, that can be super dangerous. There's some danger to that as far as their stomachs getting messed up, and it can be very bad. But another thing is they're not hydrated at that stage. The hydration is going to happen all throughout the day, so keep that in mind. So that's some ways to prevent it. Now, what happens if you're out there and your dog starts to get overheated? Well, number one, you need to stop your session right away. And you can kind of look at your dog's body language. Is their tongue hanging out extremely far? Are their eyes a little bit swollen? Are they acting a little lethargic? In any of those cases, you may need to consult a vet if it gets too out of hand. Now, if their tongue's hanging out, that's probably fine. But if you've got a dog that's lethargic or they're starting to like wobble around, you've got a serious, serious problem. Get the dog to the vet. Do not throw it in a cooler. Bad idea. That can make it worse. You've got to prevent it. Remember that. Prevent it, prevent it, prevent it. But the last thing is that you can do is get some alcohol and little pads, wipe that on their paws. That's going to help too. That will actually help cool them off. That'll help get them in a better situation. One last thing is water work. So when we think water work, we think, oh, this is a great idea. We can work them with the water. Well, at this stage of the year, the water is pretty warm, or at least where we're located. Now, maybe in your location, it's not quite as bad, but the water is almost just as warm as it is out here. And it's so humid when they get in the water, that can really affect them when they get out. So honestly, sometimes the water is not going to be any cooler than working in the shade or where they can actually get a nice breeze to help cool them off. So that's a lot to consider, but here, let's recap real quick. Remember, prevention is your best key. Just remember that. That's the main recap I want you to get. Prevent, hydrate, and make sure that you're giving your dog ample time to rest in between so that they can catch their breath so that they're not getting too hot. And then remember, read your dog's body language, take your time. If you do all that, you can help prevent your dog from overheating when it's extremely hot outside.